Hello everyone, it is Briximus Prime, back at it again for another Transformers Studio Series action figure video, and today we're going to be taking a look at this piece of shit. Let's start by taking a look at that packaging right up front here. It's got the Transformers logo for Transformers The Last Night. It says he's Decepticon Mohawk, Hasbro, Transformers, Studio Series, and then, right there's his stupid mug right there.
Authentic Transformer!
Here on the back, got promo shots and such, and then we got his frickin' face right there on the side. Says he's a core class, and that's pretty much it for the packaging. Into the trash you go, along with Transformers The Last Night. Pretty simple accessory. This guy just comes with a little knife. This knife is perfect for him, because now he can go and intently mug somebody.
Aw, yeah! Decepticons is in the street!
And yeah, it feels really weird reviewing this guy. I mean, this guy is weird. It's weird because it feels like I have not reviewed a Bayformer Transformer in like a long while. And now here's taking a look at, Mohawk himself. And I'd say he looks pretty screen accurate, as horrifying as that is. I do appreciate Hasbro coming back to the Bayverse again and actually giving us some of those rando Decepticons that we ended up growing to like later on, because obviously at first when people saw this guy, people were absolutely horrified. Congratulations, you terrified the entire Transformers community. You held the record for like 5 minutes. Speaking of this guy's death, you can...
Give me your face!
Yeah, continuing the trend of Studio Series figures being as painfully screen accurate as possible, this guy, you can recreate this guy's death by, having his head be able to be decapitated. For the kids. Yeah, as ugly as this head sculpt is, I do still really like it because when I saw this design at first, I wasn't that big of a fan, but over the years, it's actually grown on me quite a bit. I mean, I did buy this figure for a reason. And also, I really like the green splattered paint on this guy. Gives him that rugged look like he just got out of jail, which is also screen accurate to the movie, by the way. And overall, he's barely got any kibble. I mean, the kibble he does have on here is part of the charm of the actual figure itself. And his transformation is quite simple, but we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, pretty nice looking figure here, even though he looks like a freaking nightmare or a frog. Nightmare frog.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows?
Even with just a little core class that's only this big, there's still so many little molded details and sculpted in stuff that I really appreciate, especially on something again that's like this small. Actually, come to think of it, he kind of looks like Fish Face from Ninja Turtles. It's actually a really good experience for something this small. Going over Mohawk's Poseability, as mentioned before, he does have the...
Look at that little blue beetle looking mofo!
His head can swivel from side to side, and his head can also... These shoulder pads with the wheels can shift all over the place due to transformation, so you can adjust them to how you want when you're, posing him around. His shoulders are on little ball joints, and those ball joints are also very removable, so you can try to recreate his death scene even more. He does have shifting shoulders that can shift up and down. The shoulders can move outward that far. They can rotate a full 360 unhindered. He does have a very small bicep swivel on that little ball joint in his elbow. Double jointed elbows that bend in all the way. Nothing at the wrists. I mean, that'd be amazing if there was something there. No waist swivel, sadly, but again, it's not quite necessary to get that much fun out of him. He has ball joints at the hips, which allows for his legs to kick forward very far, kick back very far. They can move outward very far. Nothing really at the thigh, but the ball joint at the hip does allow you to simulate a swivel. He does have knees that bend backwards, and they bend forwards. He has those weird, Decepticon chicken legs, like from the Bayverse. And then he's got little ball joints at his feet, which allows him to pivot ever so slightly and allows for the feet to move up and down, and they can swivel around. All kinds of posability on this guy. Like I said, for being such a small little figure, he's actually quite the package, and I think is worth the money for being a core class like this. Here he is with the last Studio Series core class figure that I took a look at, Freezer, and yes, I did buy Novocaine, even though he is only a little bit different. I make good financial decisions. Here he is compared next to the last Transformers The Last Night / Bayverse figures that I did a review on, the Deluxe Class Hot Rod and the Deluxe Class Crosshair. I was too lazy to transform Crosshair because this transformation sucks balls. And then just a quick little throwback comparison. Here he is with the Reveal the Shield Scout Class Chop Saw. It's just when I got the Core Class figure out of his packaging, he reminded me a lot of the Scout Class Chop Saw, so that's why I wanted to just compare these two together and kind of very similar in terms of play value. Now let's get into this little guy's simple and quick transformation. And then this guy transforms into Michael Bay's personal motorcycle. And yeah, the motorcycle mode here looks pretty good. The biggest thing I'm the most surprised with is that Mohawk's head is actually pretty concealed within this whole thing. It actually is very well hidden, which is also really cool because all the painted detail, all that green and white paint that was visible earlier, is also perfectly well hidden away. Really feels like this guy really is a robot in disguise, even though he is pretty much all kibble. It's just him doing a weird yoga pose, but I appreciate, again, all that mechanical detail that was visible in robot mode now benefits really well here in vehicle mode, because, now you can't really tell the difference between motorcycle detail and between robot mode detail. So very nice little subtle hints right there as well. And of course, I like the little bits of paint they do have here. And as far as I know, there isn't any figures that are available that are big enough or small enough to fit on this motorcycle, but it is a very nice motorcycle with some movable wheels. And it doesn't really have a kickstand, but it doesn't really need one either. Also, there's a teeny little notch right there where this little knife can slide in for weapon storage, just to let you all know. Also, when in his vehicle mode, as you can see demonstrated here by these comparisons, is Mohawk also tends to shrink down quite a bit in his motorcycle mode. He was pretty tall earlier in his robot mode, and now he's a lot smaller. But yeah, there's the comparisons between Freezer, Novocaine, and Mohawk. Here he is with Hot Rod in his Lamborghini mode. And then, of course, here he is with the Studio Series Crosshair that I was showing off earlier. And then here he is with Reveal the Shield Chop Saw. Again, very similar figures to each other. It's just, because of the core class and the modern stuff and the way how Hasbro does things now, Scout class doesn't exist anymore. But I can definitely see a lot of the inspiration or maybe some influence that this figure had on this little guy. They have very similar styles of transformation, but again, like I mentioned, they also have very similar play value in terms of engineering and just playability. And that is basically it for my review on the Core Class Mohawk from Transformers The Last Night. And yeah, this is actually a very good Studio Series Core Class. I am genuinely surprised by how well this guy poses around. He looks like he's fiddly, but he actually is pretty solid and holds pretty well together, and I just overall am genuinely surprised by this figure, and even though I may not like the character as much as maybe some other people or as much as Michael Bay was hoping I would, I definitely love this figure of him, which definitely makes my opinion on him change a little bit, but overall it is a fantastic Studio Series release and a new addition to add to the Michael Bay collection, to the Bayverse collection. And if I had to give this figure a rating, I give him a very solid 9 out of 10. Like I said, he has a fantastic, motorcycle mode that barely has any problems with it. I mean, it looks fairly accurate to my knowledge. And I like his little bells and whistles, like the opening mouth that they gave him, and he has the removable head, the knife, he has just enough detail and paintwork that he really stands out. The green does a lot to help him stand out. And yeah, that is basically it for this review. If you guys liked it, give me a like on the video, comment below what you guys think, subscribe to the channel for more Transformers and action figure videos, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Am I the only one in here?